Hi, I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Thanks for joining us on TCM, where we're saluting the life and career of three-time Oscar nominee Diane Ladd. Ladd died earlier this month, November 3rd, at the age of 89. We just had the movie that earned Diane Ladd her first Oscar nomination, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. She received her second nomination 16 years later for the offbeat David Lynch drama Wild at Heart. Up next, Ladd delivers her third and final Oscar-nominated supporting performance in a drama that, like Wild at Heart, falls into a very specific subgenre of films, one that applies only to Diane Ladd. These are movies where she plays opposite her daughter, actress Laura Dern. From 1991, directed by Martha Coolidge, this is the TCM premiere of Rambling Rose. Ladd plays Mother, the matriarch of a pretty eccentric rural Georgia family in 1935. At work on her master's degree and reliant on an early version of a hearing aid, she imparts wisdom and gentle proto-feminist doctrine to her three children and her doting husband, played by Robert Duvall. One day, Rose, a beautiful, slightly awkward 19-year-old, that's Laura Dern, arrives at the family's home to work as a housekeeper and caretaker. The family informally adopts her, and because she's not used to the genuine kindness they show her, especially from Duvall, a father figure, she starts to form some unhealthy attachments. Martha Coolidge was primarily known for directing memorable 80s teen comedies like Valley Girl and Real Genius, but for her and Laura Dern, Rambling Rose was a real passion project. Dern and Coolidge spent 5 years pitching the screenplay, adapted from a Calder Willingham novel by Willingham himself, to independent film companies, facing repeated rejections until Carolco Pictures finally agreed to produce the film. Casting Diane Ladd as Mother was not Laura Dern's idea. During the long gestation of Rambling Rose, Coolidge directed Ladd in the 1988 movie Plain Clothes and imagined her in the part of Mother. Later, when making Rambling Rose, Coolidge was slightly concerned about the resemblance between Ladd and Dern in the film, since the characters are not related on screen. To mitigate that perception, Coolidge had Ladd's hair dyed brown to contrast with Dern's blonde hair. Ladd and Dern made Academy Award history with the film. We'll have more on that after we see the movie. From 1991, also with Lucas Haas, John Hurd, and Kevin Conway, with a score by Elmer Bernstein. Here's Rambling Rose. Diane Ladd, who died earlier this month at the age of 89, leaves behind an incredible list of film, television, and stage performances spanning 7 decades. She and her daughter, Laura Dern, made Oscar history with Rambling Rose, becoming the first and still the only mother-daughter team to pick up Oscar nominations for the same film, Dern for Best Actress, Ladd for Best Supporting Actress. The only other parent-child pair to be nominated for the same movie were Henry and Jane Fonda for On Golden Pond. In an interview around the release of Rambling Rose, Diane Ladd claimed it was her favorite role, saying, "It was the first time, probably in my life, that I was able to use part of what I used to try to raise my daughter into womanhood." One of Laura Dern's earliest roles came opposite her mother in White Lightning in 1973. It was a Burt Reynolds film. Dern was just 5. Though Ladd said she initially tried to steer Laura away from acting, it was clear from an early age that's where Laura Dern would wind up. Ladd and Dern shared the screen often, including in Alexander Payne's Citizen Ruth, Billy Bob Thornton's Daddy in Them, Mike White's HBO series Enlightened, and twice for director David Lynch in Wild at Heart and Inland Empire. In an interview a couple of weeks before her mother's death, Laura Dern's love and reverence for her mom came through clearly. "My mom taught me to lead with empathy and purpose," said Laura. "That's what keeps me in love with storytelling." Coming up, Jacqueline Stewart has Silent Sunday Night. She has 5 shorts written, directed, and in some cases starring Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle, starting with Curses from 1925. That is all next on Turner Classic Movies.
Next on TCM, A Silent Sunday with Roscoe Arbuckle, then Mada Deo, and later, Vacation from Love. Take a break with TCM Tonight.